All right, Monday, 5 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time to hit the books, part of the Hammer Betting Network, alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire, Zach Phillips. I'm merely Brad Powers. Before we recap a finally great week 7 of college football, at least as far as the bets go, before we look ahead to the big matchups for week 8 of college football, let me remind everybody that Hit the Books is brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always getting the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book for games, futures, player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the app today. If you're looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks, or you can hit the link in the description. If you sign up through this page, it does help support the show. Knish, we finally got off the mat a little bit. We had a really good week as far as the bets go. Speaking of winning, I used to always start the show off with this. For you longtime listeners, I'll throw back a little bit here. All your buddy does is win, cover. My goodness, them Detroit Lions look pretty good, bud.
I don't even know why why don't we just get on here and scream Lions lay whatever the point spread is. Another cover, another double-digit cover. This team ain't slowing down, baby. They've got a real path, and again, I got knock on every piece of wood I have here. They got a real path to the 1 seed. They have, and again, I'm not saying they're the best team in the NFC. Yeah. I'm saying that they have by far the easiest schedule and the easiest division to be able to get there. So we'll see. Hopefully keep it rolling. I know probably I would say their toughest remaining game this week, maybe second toughest, depending on how the Chargers look in a few games, but on the road at Baltimore, but they're coming back from London. So we'll see. Goff is playing. Who's playing better football than Jared Goff, baby? I was going to say mush now. Listen, I'm trying to keep it in check, Rocco. I'm trying to keep it in check. We're trying to stay relevant here. But, they just every week are putting together, quality performance.
When's the last playoff win?
I think it was 90-
I think
90. They beat the Cowboys in the divisional round and lost to the Redskins in the NFC Championship by like 60. It was that Doug. I gotta forget his last name, but that Redskins quarterback. They ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. But
Rippon was the quarterback there for Washington. Doug was 3-4 years before that.
Okay,
I'm older than you, man, so I remember. I was actually a big Lions fan at the time, going to the games and stuff as a young kid.
But time to get back on the bandwagon, baby.
Yeah, I do like that team. All right, speaking of likes, let's recap a little week 7 college football. Not only best bets, but also what you saw. We did have a big winner on the biggest game of the week. We had Washington money line. Good job by you recommending the money line. So the point spread, because anybody that pretty much bet that game throughout much of the week probably pushed, whether you bet Oregon or Washington. There were some 3.5s out there during certain points of the week, but good on you for taking the money line there. What'd you see in the Washington-Oregon game? Because I got to be honest with you, came away a little bit more impressed with Oregon than Washington, but my goodness, Dan Lanning, for you, the analytics crowd loves Dan Lanning. I'd like to see, I'm okay with the aggressiveness. I just like to see some better conversion rate on 4th down, because this is the third big game in 2 years where he's been like basically an offer as far as the 4th down decisions go. So what'd you see in that big game?
Yeah, I know what. You know what? I think this is obviously 2 best teams in the Pac-12. Probably, maybe the game of the season. Loved every second. I will say I'm a supporter of the landing distance. The only one, maybe a little bit of question, that right before half, instead of taking the points, and I think he said that in the press conference today off, we probably should have kicked there. Other than that, I love, especially going for the win there when Washington was out of timeouts instead of punting to me. And then they scored so quick, you had time to come back down and get a field goal to send it to OT. So I like the decisions. The difference was that Michael Penix, might be the best player in college football this year. And that was the difference. I think Oregon player to player, probably a better team overall. If you wanted to go up and down the roster, not by a wide margin, but I mean, Penix, he took some shots. He was banged up in that game. And then just the last drive, couple of absolute dimes to win it. So fantastic game. Glad we were on the right side of that one there. And you'd have to say, I know I saw the Connolly article come out today. He's definitely in pole position for the Heisman. Now, they got a lot of tough games left. The thing is, does he have margin? You know what I'm saying? Can he drop one of these? He'll get there. I think that's the biggest question. Obviously, if they win out, he's the winner. It's lose a game. Which game could it be?
Does he deserve to be a minus favorite versus everybody else?
I mean, it's tough because you got Dylan Gabriel, who I don't know when Oklahoma's going to lose. You got JJ McCarthy, who I don't know when Michigan's going to. So that's the problem. Is even if he keeps putting up these stats, if they drop a game late, and you got a couple other undefeated guys, I don't know. So the race it's very intriguing. I can't. I know our friend the tent here hopefully for him it does not Penix go, but that would be the biggest issue is if they drop a game late. Where does he still get the votes? Where does it disperse to? Should be a fascinating finish here for the Heisman. Because most years you're talking about by this time it's pretty slimmed down. I think you still got 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks that are in this.
I do too. Shameful on me. I do not have a Gabriel ticket, so that would be
neither.
That would be a big time loser if he ends up winning it. I will say he doesn't have a lot of big high profile games down the stretch. I think that hurts him. I think JJ McCarthy having the Penn State and Ohio State games will help him. Penix having big games against questionable defenses too. I think he can, provided he throws for 450 yards and Washington loses a shootout. I think he might have a little bit of error if that's the case. Let's talk about a guy that probably lost the Heisman Trophy on Saturday night. And I also lost some bets on USC. We lost. One of our very few losers was the rush total on Caleb Williams, but
he had the holding 35-yard TD called back by holding. That was, and I knew it as soon as that happened. Now, granted, he did take a lot of sacks, but that one would have. And I said, "We're in," and then saw the flag down and knew it was trouble from there. Regardless, though, that wasn't the worst thing to happen to USC on Saturday, though. I tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, I really, unless he just goes out, they win out, which they won't, in my opinion. No. And he lost the Heisman Trophy last night. And that was one of the reasons why I didn't bet him. Not necessarily that I predicted they'd get blown out in Notre Dame. I just think, you got a different level of scrutiny being the defending Heisman Trophy winner. There's a reason why there's only been one repeat winner. So SC took a major hit, to say the least. My bankroll took a hit because I bet the Trojans. Any other games catch your eye other than some of the best bet winners, or anything that I would say power ratings wise, Wisconsin losing to Iowa and losing Mordecai.
That's exactly where I was going to go. To compound on your point on the USC, it wasn't just, we thought USC was going to lose that game. It was some weather. Notre Dame runs it pretty hard. Notre Dame, their offense didn't even really light it up that much. It was it was a bunch of Caleb Williams mistakes. And you know what? Their offense it just didn't look in sync. And it's been a little bit, ever since they played the first few weeks. I don't know. USC might have another, not just one loss coming up. They might have a couple more on the schedule if they don't get some of that corrected. I tell you, but that's exactly where I was going to go. Was I was going to do it again. They're going, I don't know how they're going to do, but they're going to do it again. They somehow, Mordecai gets knocked out. They have 30 passing yards. They win the game they need to win. They don't play Michigan. They don't play Ohio State. They can probably ugly their way up and still have some margin in some of these, down the stretch here with losing a game or two. It's just disgusting. What's the Big Ten championship spread going to be? 38? This, I don't know. I don't know how they do it year after year. This is one I couldn't believe that as I was watching. And once you saw Mordecai go out, and I know the BP was all over Illinois early yesterday. I agree with it. We had somebody in the chat ask, is Mordecai worth that much? Listen, I'm not saying the guy was playing well. I'm saying when they went to the backup, the offense was complete.
Yeah.
Watching that, and I watched that game, like once the backup came in, it was like this team cannot drive the field on Iowa's defense. Like they need some like fluke something to happen because they're not going to be able to go up and down the field. And they didn't. And so now, I don't know. Yeah, you want to say overvalued? I don't even love Mordecai, but their offense is pretty brutal without him. It wasn't even that great with them. So, yeah, I think Wisconsin could be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, I think Illinois wins outright. It wasn't just, the old BP tout service giving out that Illinois early. That was not only the Mordecai stuff not being properly priced in, but Bielema has an axe to grind with Wisconsin. He kind of showed that last year when he went up to Madison and crushed them. So, and obviously they're playing with renewed confidence because that was one of the biggest upsets of obviously the weekend. Illinois winning outright as a 13.5-point underdog against Maryland in that one. So there was a multitude of reasons there. One big upset we didn't get into, and then we'll start talking this week's games. What happened on Friday night? And it was one of our best bets that looked dead in the water. I went to bed. 29. You stayed up for it. It looks like.
I'm a late ride, and I saw once it started happening. Like, oh baby, because let's just say the trolls were piling on in that first half, and I said, oh baby, this is gonna be some great content if they make this comeback. So,
now, did you play any Stanford in game? Because what I'm seeing, it was as high as 70-1. On the money line?
No, I didn't, because old Joey K, as he said on the show, listen, folks, this isn't just a content show where, we talk about it and, maybe put free plays. When I said I was doubling down on Stanford before the game, I doubled down on Stanford before the game. So, I was already in for a lot pregame, and that was looking pretty ugly in the first half. I can't believe they came all the way back. I know when it started, coming, I was like, all right, if they can get within the number, maybe Colorado drags it out to get it to OT and then win outright. A lot of good stuff there, especially Colorado regular season win total unders. Obviously, are
still alive.
There. So yeah, that really enjoyed that comeback.
Yeah, Colorado will not be favored in any of their remaining 5 games, especially with Arizona dominating. I think a lot of people in the nation overlooked that one. Arizona beating Washington State 44-6 as a touchdown plus underdog. Woo! Now it's 2 weeks. The prior 2 weeks probably should have beaten USC on the road.
Yep.
And given Washington a legit game, lost by 7. Arizona's a really damn good team down the stretch here. They'll be in a bowl game for the first time in a while. So Jed Fish doing a really good job there. Tailgate tent. Got some great Knish text when Stanford was down. He was telling me he was going to have to move to Detroit.
Joey K was in a bad place during that first half. I won't lie about it. That was the boost I needed. That second half comeback. You want to hit what is, and I keep giving him credence every week on the show. Is North Carolina like? I mean, Tez Walker's back. He looks unstoppable. They've got the defense correct. I mean, that game wasn't even as close as, I think the final score indicated. So I can't believe a team with Mac Brown and Gene Chizik is, really live in the ACC. But, I mean, they could make the playoff. If they went out and beat Florida State, I'm just saying. What's, let me see the remaining schedule here, but
they got to go to Clemson. They get Duke at home. They're at NC State, a rivalry game. You're the old Knish. I mean, they'll probably, with you saying that, they'll lose to freaking Virginia this week as a 24-point favorite.
Should I play some North Carolina national championship futures to make sure this goes? I got a UNC regular season win ticket under that. I might as well put in the fire. So the game at Clemson is like Virginia, Georgia Tech, Campbell, Duke, Clemson, and then NC State, who I don't know.
In every game but one.
I think it's a one game schedule here.
Yeah, I mean they'll be up against Florida State in the ACC championship game, but doing a good job to say the least. A lot more legit than last year. I think last year's team started 9-0, and then it was a very phony 9-0. They won 5 or 6 close games.
This isn't phony though. This is real deal.
No. This isn't phony this year. Let's get to the chat. They've waited long enough here. And guys, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button if you want to comment in the chat. If you're listening live and can't comment, Zach told me, he said, hey, the only people that can comment in the chat or subscribe to the channel. So there you go. If you're wondering, well, what's up with that. So make sure you're hitting that like button and make sure you're subscribed. Speaking of who's subscribed, Patrick Burns, a winning week in the chat. The Hit the Books train is back on track, ready to roll. Yep, we hated the portfolio. Look what happened. Did a good job there. YouTube user in the chat, Toledo at Miami, Ohio. Are you guys part of the move on Toledo? Third road game in a row for Toledo. I like the Red Hawks this week. I do too. I'm waiting. 3 is what I need. I'll probably get to the win. If it never gets to 3, I'm still going to bet Miami, Ohio. I'm just waiting for it to pop. We're close. We're getting there. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, Toledo, another, what was that, 6 straight failed to cover games as a favorite. I think they failed to cover this week. They lose outright. I like Miami, Ohio. A team that's covered 6 in a row.
We're aligned on this one, and we're both targeting the same. So I don't know if it'll get there, but I'm totally with you. You saw it against Ball State. I don't think this Toledo team is, and it's a team that they'll probably still win the division because they got but this is one I would love a 3, but either way, Miami, Ohio is going to be the play here at some point.
That's one, guys, we'll revisit on the Friday show and see. That very well could be a best bet on the Friday show. But again, numbers do matter. Let's see if we can get a 3 this week. Birdie Man in the chat, Georgia State +3 against ULL. Yeah, ULL got some money today. My power ratings lean that way, but I will say ULL off the bye. This freshman quarterback's been playing really well for him, that Chris kid. Did you play this one?
No, I didn't get involved. I agree. You know what? I wasn't big on, I haven't really been a ULL buyer. I don't think I've been involved in their games much this year, but they have played it. And Georgia State's defense there, I played some of them versus Marshall over the weekend, but I like that spot a lot better and the matchup a lot better than I do this one. At 3, it's kind of just where I thought if you got in on some ULL real early at open and that under 3, I thought was the right side. But I didn't get involved. And now that it's past 3, I think it's kind of fair.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not involved yet. 3.5 though. I would bet Georgia State. Drunk Driver H3 in the chat. Thoughts on Charlotte at ECU? Biff and the Niners got blanked last week. Box score was pretty close. The yards were even. Turnovers did them in. I think Charlotte was -3 in that one. I didn't bet it. Early money is again on Charlotte here. I don't know. I thought East Carolina defensively was pretty decent against SMU. I bet SMU last week pretty big, and I was impressed with ECU's defense for the first 3 quarters of that game until SMU pulled away. Did you bet this one at all? I think 7 is a pretty fair number.
Yeah, no, I mean, Charlotte's offense is just really hard, and it's an ECU defense that I think is actually is all right especially going against an opponent like this, where I think the matchup. But I know Charlotte took some money. It's one of those games I get if people over a touchdown they just took the points. I see it there. So if this crossed through, then I might have some interest there on East Carolina. So it's kind of one I'm just going to wait on. I didn't get involved in any of the early action, and I wouldn't play it now.
6.5, definitely. I think there's 1 or 2 out there. That would be a lean on East Carolina for me. Charles in the chat, we need to have an Hit the Books best bet on the over for the Iowa game. In seriousness, what's the record for these sub 35-point Iowa totals past 3 years? I don't know. We saw one go under last week. With that being said, Circa flashed at 31 and I took over. Just 31. Are you kidding me? I mean, watch it go under. It'd be 10-7. I don't know. Minnesota's offense is ridiculously bad. A lot of money did come in on Minnesota today. I kind of agree with that, but I did.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one of the earlier week bets that I've been part of was some Minnesota. I still think 4.5 is okay there. I know Sport Trade trading a 5.5, 4.5. And listen, there's a guy who's been burned by Iowa more than once this year. Last week, but I'm not stopping, baby. It's extremely different when you're having to win by margin in these games than getting the play. Iowa, and I get it. There was a ton of game day money, sharp money that came in on Iowa during the game. I mean, there was even some 7s that flashed to get the Wisconsin game, and that was the right side, even with Mordecai being hurt. But that said, different position this week, laying it. Again, Minnesota's a bit of a tough sell, but I can't get to. I thought this game right around 3 would have it. So at over 4.
Best bet at 4.5.
If you're on board with it, I think 4.5 is good. I think it still keeps
Yeah, I'm
going.
good.
I
I
don't get any
regretted.
Iowa buyer until round 3.
I regretted not being a part of the Minnesota steam earlier. All right, Minnesota plus 4.5. Only caveat I would have is uh Ferentz has owned PJ Fleck. I don't think PJ Fleck's beaten Ferentz. Over. So that would be my only worry there.
Get the oar up, baby. It's time to row.
There you go. I do like it. Sneaky. I think Iowa's on an 8 straight week. Minnesota's off a bye. Those profited last week, those spots there. As we get later in the season, I like that. Nicholas in the chat, thoughts on Oklahoma State plus 3.5 at West Virginia? I would lean that way. A little bit of money on West Virginia, but I don't know how you rebound from that. Oof. That's one where I'm not sure Neil Brown recovers from the Hail Mary at the. I know my bankroll took a hit. I got greedy and went for the middle on that game and had it. And, oof. Oklahoma State, we mentioned this last week. Gundy did something off the bye because this offense is completely different.
In-season offensive turnaround I ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I mean, I got to give him credit. I'm not a Mike Gundy guy, but this is a team that they scored 7 points against South Alabama at home. And now they're, beating both Kansas schools back to back, putting up 30 and 40.
Yeah. What's the Zach? Can you bring this up on? This might be a sneaky over. What's the total on this game? I haven't really dived into totals yet. 50.5. I'll look. That's one we're going to revisit on Friday. That might be a sneaky over for me because I obviously I'm not sure that Oklahoma State's offensive improvements are getting totally priced in accordingly. They're legit. I mean, offensively, night and day, like you mentioned. I mean, they couldn't do anything the first part of this season. Now it just looks like the typical Oklahoma State offense. We'll revisit that one. I lean Oklahoma State right now over right now. I got to dive in deeper. Gets in the bet in the chat. Middle Tennessee plus 14.5. Also, who do you guys like in the Oregon game this week? I bet Liberty early. When my numbers leaned Liberty, I thought the market would move that way because I've been much lower on Liberty
too. Where now you're starting to see the buyers at 14.5 weren't really there, and there's some spots hitting 15. So that that's one of those key indicators where if you don't have the buyers at 14.5 and 15, and again, this can change throughout the bid, that usually means it's going to trend up towards 17 as opposed to go back. So that's one, if you like Middle Tennessee, I think you wait on it a bit.
Yeah. Liberty's been taking money, even game day money. Yep. Wait. Good advice there, as always, from Knish. He's Joey Knish. I'm Brad Powers. Zach Phillips, producer extraordinaire. You're watching Hit the Books. RW fan.
This is a Wazoo team. I was backing early for a lot of the but woo! I mean, they got totally outplayed versus UCLA, and then absolutely Pam blasted versus Arizona. So I don't know. I'm not. I mean, 20 is a big number, but I
didn't take part. I took the over. I think Oregon would really push some tempo. I think Washington State will rebound a little bit offensively, but they look like, I would say out of gas, but they just had a bye prior to. I don't know what we talked about the bye for Gundy working out. The bye went wrong for Washington State. They were off the bye against UCLA. Ever since then, the offense disappeared. I don't know what Arbuckle was doing on the bye at 27. Maybe he's partying a little too much in Pullman. But the offense, didn't do anything against UCLA and didn't do anything against Arizona. But yeah, I would agree with the Oregon money. I tried to bet it. I hit bet on the opener circus. Somebody got me and it already moved. So that's the only way I could bet there. RW fan in the chat, please discuss Stanford and UCLA. UCLA's gotten the money here. Did you bet this one? I haven't yet.
No, I haven't. I couldn't get to the number now. With that said, in the first half, you just saw the lack of team speed on Stanford, and that was versus a Colorado team who, is basically one portal year into it, where you're like, oh my God, they this defense can't catch up on anybody. And I know Dante Moore has not been playing very well at all in UCLA's offense, but if there was ever a get right defense to face, it would be this Stanford team. I think Colorado kind of, packed it in at halftime, thought it was over, got a little ahead of themselves. Stanford's wide receiver had kind of like this out-of-body experience second half game. Listen, we'll take it last week. I'm very happy it happened. I'm not going back to the well with Stanford this week. If anything, I'd lean UCLA.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think Dante Moore right now is the best quarterback on UCLA's roster?
I tell you what, and you know what? And I know we've discussed him a lot. Like, he came in, he looked, but it's been really rough for a couple of games in a row. He also doesn't give them any element of really athleticism in the, that like you can't run a lot of RPOs or design runs which is like a major thing of Chip's offense that I think it's missing. And I just saw him. I don't know if he's banged up or that, but like even when I saw him, chasing, he threw one pick, he's chasing back. I was like, he doesn't look athletic at all. I don't know if he's out of shape or banged up or what it is, or just not a guy who's, a twitchy athlete, but I just think it takes away from their offense quite a bit. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like they can't make the move now, but
are they playing him because there was the transfer rumors in the fall?
That was what I mean, he's a guy in the recruiting process was going to the school who was giving him the best chance to play. So I feel like they've kind of, made their bed and you got to roll with the mistakes for the end of the year. But this is not going to be the last game UCLA loses if he doesn't, get the level of play up.
Yep. Let's keep it going in the chat. Austin, hey guys, couple questions. Brad, I have an Ole Miss -4.5. Should I cash out and grab an Auburn +7? Secondly, Joey K, are we on Kent State again this week? Do not cash out. You got closing line value. Just roll with it. You got a good bet.
Yeah,
you got a couple points. Don't cash out.
Auburn sucks. I tell you, they're again, Ole Miss. Not that I'm saying Ole Miss, but they are a lot healthier than they were, especially on offense earlier in the year. And I don't think this Auburn offense can keep up, especially against an Ole Miss defense that I think against the run there, it's all right. Not a fantastic defense, but it's a lot better than in years past. I listen at under a TD here. I can lead Ole Miss. I haven't actually fired yet, but I am close. I'll say that. Kent State. Somebody take the button clicker away from me. I tell you what. I don't know. I can't. I tell you, I'm not bad. This, I feel like almost obligated to bet it because you feel like hey, if you don't bet it this week, it's going to be the week they cover. I jumped in on some more live to make it not a complete bridge jumper versus Eastern, but I still honestly I think this is a little like I would have needed 10 here if I'm getting behind Kent at Buffalo. So.
How about that? They open up the game with an onside kick, return for a touchdown. Oh my God, that was some. That's Kent State.
It was
football.
like 120 yards to 0, and they're losing 7-0. So yeah, that was that is the Kent State season in a nutshell.
Robert in the chat. Oof. Thinking about teasing Bama down to 2.5 with the Chargers tonight. No, don't tease college football. If you want to tease the Chargers tonight, I'm sure there's probably 4 or 5 games you can tease the NFL next weekend. Are you teasing Bama down to 2.5?
No, there was a time which I have made this joke about 100 times where maybe certain books you could have done that and they had some but no, listen, one, teasers are mostly toast everywhere, NFL and college based on the pricing. 2, that's not the kind like the games where we would, used to target in college football would be the Iowa, Wisconsin, the total's 31 and you can tease, 2 up to 8, or Air Force versus, Wyoming, something along those lines. Not a Bama Tennessee game where the total's up there, but although I tell you what, I don't really like it. Tennessee if they can't run the ball, which I don't know if they're going to do against Alabama. I know they got the cover versus A&M. I'm not seeing it this weekend.
Yeah, I think Alabama wins, but I mean that kind of says you should tease them. But I don't tease college, even if the thing about teasing that Wisconsin. Oh, we liked Wisconsin last week, even minus the points.
Yeah,
low total. They lose the freaking game outright. There's just way too much variance in college football to be teasing. And speaking of teasers, toast. Got any comments? There's anything sports gambling, Twitter wise, with the teasers being toast? Anybody?
I mean, I don't. I know there's some stressful situations going on, so I don't want to, pile on too much there. I just hope it's for the best for them. I know, listen, if you can look at the gambling drama Twitter account if you want to catch up on that. If you're in the chat, I saw some people asking. So, but no, I don't know that crowd particularly that well. So, yeah, it's a tough business.
It is. Nicholas in the chat, thoughts on UCF plus 19.5 against Oklahoma? I'm not there. I'm off. I know Plumlee's back and stuff. I mean, they'll probably play the game of their life this week, but I'm not there. I was there for a couple weeks. The Baylor game, the Kansas game. I washed my hands with UCF at that point. What say you?
Yeah, I haven't gotten involved either.
I think it goes up. Oklahoma's covered every game. I could see it going up from this number. I mean, it's in that dead spot. What say you? I laid 17 on the open.
Yeah, I think that would have been the way. I would need getting closer to 21 here for it to actually get interested in this one.
Rocco D in the chat. We're back again with another play of the week. Eastern Michigan winner, Kent State winner, Ball State winner, and this week Mac Mafia play of the week. Akron plus 7.5. Has any thoughts? Thanks as always for the best pod going. I'm not there. Although Akron played a little bit better last week. BG looked pretty good against Buffalo. I don't know. You never know. I mean, BG this year's a box of chocolates. This would be the week that they have a bad performance. You've been following them. It's a great data point, bad data point, great data point, bad data point. So did you bet this one yet? I didn't.
No, I mean, if you look at the down, and I know they kind of played close with Central. I mean, if you look at the downgrade from Irons to what they've put out at quarterback since,
it's been bad.
You could argue it's the biggest downgrade in the country. QB I mean, it's going to guys who have not been able to throw for 100 yards. Who was maybe the best quarterback in the MAC outside of Rourke, or was actually playing better than Rourke this season. To now what they have at this month, I can't get behind it, Rocco. I know you've been hot in the MAC, but I can't get there on Akron. They can't move the football since Irons went down. So it's a pass for me.
Speaking of Rocco, smash the like button if your Miami national title tickets are officially up in flames. Yep, they are going.
Well, you can call that one. If anybody's interested at a healthy discount, my DMs are open.
What are you hearing? Speaking of Miami, news broke today about Van Dyke. What are you hearing in there? Questionable. Can he go? Is he out? What'd you do?
You know what? I saw the news. Obviously, it took a little bit of steam. I don't have a good. I mean, this is one. If he's out, I think it'll keep moving. But I don't have a lot of certainty at this point yet in his availability.
Am I crazy for kind of liking Miami in the game if he can go?
If he can go, yeah, I was going to say the Knish moles are wink, wink, working on it. But
okay, yeah, I think if he goes, I think Miami.
And then it's like if he does go, how healthy is he? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not. That's one that, if you got ahead of the move there on Clemson, but I'm not sure where it's heading.
John in the chat, glad y'all had a big week. Arkansas minus 6.5, Air Force minus 10.5. Seems like Mississippi State is banged up big time. I haven't got an injury report yet on that one. While banged up coming off the bye. Oof. You would think Arkansas would be banged up. Rocket Sanders isn't playing. Arkansas has lost, 5 in a row, 5 tough games in a row. This is their 8th straight week. Mississippi State's off a bye. I bet Mississippi State. I'm going to have to check the injury report. If maybe I got a loser there. Did you do anything that one or with the Air Force? I didn't bet the I wanted to take Air Force, but I can't lay double digits in a Service Academy game with a low total.
Yeah, no, I didn't get there either on the Air Force one. To be honest with you, and I would lean Mississippi State at 7. And I know they've got some injury issues going on there, but I mean this Arkansas is a sad. And I know the final score looked a lot better than the game played out. I hate what Dan Enos has done with them on offense. Obviously, they've got some guys beat up too. Listen, I'm not. I didn't get there yet, but if I'm close on Mississippi State at a touchdown or better.
SG3 in the chat. Kansas State minus 7. Very impressive last week. TCU overhyped off a win against mediocre BYU. This is a game I hadn't touched yet. Kansas State Final score looks good. We took Kansas State. We had a best
Yeah.
bet. That was a good best bet winner. Avery Johnson took over. Quarterback run game looked good. 5 rushing touchdowns for the freshman. I'm not as wild about Kansas State this week. Are you?
No,
Don't lay
because
7.
a
I'll say
lot,
that when you
large
can lay
part
6.
of that was, Texas Texas Tech's quarterback going down, and they were on the third stringer there, which helped us quite a bit. Will Howard and as you said, Will Howard obviously banged up, not playing I know Johnson was able to run for a lot of it, but I think that's kind of a nice thing to go to mid-game where a team hasn't prepared for like the quarterback run. You're thinking it's going to be Will Howard. You switch game plans mid-game. Very tough for the defense to adjust to it as it's happening for a lot of coordinators. If when you know it's coming more so, I'm not. And also TCU's I was wrong. Like the looper comes in and he looks like he threw it all over the park. So I don't know if the Chandler Morris downgrade is that significant. So I can't get to 7 here, to be honest with you. So I know your boy Mr. Muscles was on some TCU plus 7. That'd probably be the way I'd lean.
There you go. Ronald in the chat. I didn't look at that. Hey, how's his new thing working? Is it working well? I've only checked it a few times.
Ever since he went to the site thing.
Tough to follow.
I don't know. I haven't bought any dog treats either. Sadly.
Well done. I'm glad I asked that. That was worth the price of admission right there. Ronald in the chat. Do we still back Temple plus 19 after that performance at North Texas? Well, it depends at the quarterback. I mean, that was a late. Oh my God.
As it turned out, most of the offense decided not to play, or they were I mean, listen, I think Temple basically went into that one and said, and I'm not going to say they not give it up, but they basically rested every guy that was on the fence there for a game that I think
that was a winnable game.
I'm surprised, but they had a couple receivers. I mean, they were starting the offense was down a lot of guys. A lot more, not just Warner, a lot more guys than starters that pregame it came out that they just weren't playing. And the same type of thing there where a team prepares for Warner to throw it in the first half. Some of that running they were doing running quarterback. Second half they didn't score a point. So we'll it depends. But I will say, if Warner's back, you can probably talk me into some 20. But that's one we got to wait on. That's probably a Friday show.
You think? Yeah, we'll see. Injury report that one. That was a surprising one on game day. My goodness.
Nobody I know had that. And the market didn't have it either. Nobody had that Warner news before it popped.
Nope. Not before. About an hour before the game is when that popped. Ethan in the chat. Miami, Ohio. Yep, we talked this one. Home dog to Toledo. That's a very possibility of being a best bet on the Friday show. Definitely. Yeah. Also from Ethan, thoughts on Missouri minus 6.5 at home against South Carolina. Is that still 6.5? I thought it blew through 7.
I thought so too. I thought there was some little back and forth there in that one. Let's see. I don't know.
It's 7.5 now. Oof.
Yeah.
I had 7.5. I would lean South Carolina. I mean, they played the most difficult schedule in the country. I know 2 and 4, but desperate back against the wall. 7.5 for me. I'd be on the dog there.
I would kind of lean that way as well now.
Ronald in the chat. Yep, this seems to be popular. Does the Toledo Jason Candle ATM stop this week? We think so. Again, we'll talk this game on Friday. We like Miami, Ohio. Very good possibility. Miami, Ohio, even money line might be a best bet. Thoughts on USF over 54? Their games have been flying over since the Bama game. The under took a little bit of money.
Under did take money today. Did you check the weather on this one?
I got to check the weather. I kind of like over as well, but it's early in the week. These people are betting these totals like they know everything. I've never seen that in this market before.
I got this is one we'll revisit on Friday on that. If you especially remind us in there, because this is one that took money today, and I thought could be a little potential
Head
weather
fake.
in that. And again, too early in the week to really, we always say that, but I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of trades back and forth depending on the weather report.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with that one. We will revisit that one. Because I do kind of like the over there. Speaking of overs, I do kind of like the over in this one too. UTSA FAU over. I did bet that. It's up there a little bit now compared to what it was. And I didn't even get the best number. I wasn't alone there. Florida Atlantic's offense improved. UTSA, you got 2-3 games without Harris at quarterback, so that's giving you some value there. Did you bet this one?
No, but I listen. I'm good to jump in on it if you like. I mean, there's some 57 and a half out there. I think nothing worse
Yeah,
than
59
58.
is a
But
pretty key number in totals market.
yeah,
Weather,
I'm
though,
with
I mean,
you
I'm
on.
just not there in the weather. I hate betting overs early in the week without looking at weather, but I'm okay. I mean, at 58 and a half, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I like it too. I think the FAU totals kind of got like depressed for a week now. This is getting back up there. But UTSA as well. Their defense is not what it was. Like for years, it was pretty formidable, and it has not been this year. So I think you could see, as long as you're saying there, the weather's okay, then this one should I think will be a good position there at 57, 50 or
Do you want to go
58.
now or you want to wait till Friday?
Let's fire it in there because I don't. I
All
mean,
right, over. Best bet. For those of you waiting, there we go. There's the second one of the day. Best bet over. Love it. I bet it. There we go. Over in that one. I do like that one quite a bit. Give me some BC money line at Georgia Tech by Ronald in the chat. I'm not there. In fact, this BC money train that comes in, I'm not all the way in on that stuff. I'm just not. You change one play in the Army game, they lose.
yeah, and the Georgia Tech new defensive coordinator looked a lot better under the first room. Now they've had another week to test that. So I'm not there on BC either, to be honest with you. I might actually.
Friday's show, Georgia Tech might be on the card. To be honest.
I agree. I kind of lean the other way in that one.
Right.
Because I think the offense will be okay. Now, if the defense is going to be, especially against the Boston College team that's pretty limited offensively, I'm kind of leaning that way as well.
Yeah, Circa flashed a 4. I laid at today by Georgia Tech. So that one we'll revisit. BC's been getting late week money in the market. Virginia, late week money in that one. The Army game blew through 3. Yeah, we'll probably have Georgia Tech on Friday's show. Crestman in the chat, Knish needs to sing us a little Gridiron Heroes. You got your singing voice?
I don't know if I know the lyrics to Gridiron Heroes. I got to tell you what. Give me a Crestman. Give me no Friday. I got to listen to it on YouTube or something to get the lyrics up. So yeah, give me a day. If you want a Rocky Top or something, if Tennessee covers, then do that. But or West Virginia. But I gotta get the Gridiron Heroes song ready.
Mickey in the chat, is Nick still alive in your opinion for the Heisman? Yeah, certainly. Depends on the price. What's I haven't looked at what he's trading at now. I bet him preseason.
I mean, they'd obviously have to win out, which is possible.
Doable. They get SC at home. They get Oregon State at home.
Yeah, they got a couple of key games, and both those at home, like you said. So, I mean, I don't hate it as a buy low now. Depending on as you said, depending on what price you can find them at, which I didn't look at Heisman too in depth today, but I would still say, it's he needs a lot of people in front of him to go down. So I see some 30-1 out there. You just need a lot of people to lose. Like, you're going to need Gabriel to lose. You're going to need McCarthy to lose. You need Penix to lose. You need Drake May to lose. So even if he plays well and they, run out, win out, you need some other things to happen.
Charles in the chat, Nebraska Northwestern, anything? I have not bet the game. Northwestern took a little bit of money today. Were you part of that?
I do kind of lean Northwestern in this one. I didn't actually get involved yet, but that would be the side I'd be looking towards here. Nebraska, another team that I can't get towards laying any type of margin, to be honest with you. And you know what? Northwestern, give them credit. Actually, they're on. I think I'm going to fire on Northwestern in this one. I'm not going to get the best of it here. this is one I was looking towards, but now that we're discussing
FanDuel
on the
right
show,
there, 12.5.
yeah, I'm in at that. If you co-sign it, because I think Northwestern's been relatively, especially against they win the Penn State and got black, but I'm a little bit higher on Northwestern, and I think they should have their quarterback back. I know he didn't play a game against Howard. They got the bye week, so
Yeah, 12. 12 is a fair number.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I like
I'm
that.
not against it. I'm not laying points with Nebraska's offense. I'll tell you that much.
No, that's right. I can't get to it either with that. So yeah, I'm
All right. Best bet. There's number 3. Best bet Northwestern plus
as we
12.
speak.
Yep. Mike in the chat. Yeah, he trolling, which he deserves because I've not bet Dylan Gabriel. Is Dylan Gabriel the best Hawaiian quarterback since Cole Brennan? That's funny. Good job, Mike. I deserve that. McCarthy going to win the Heisman by Connor? No, but I'd like to see him in New York. There's possibly.
He's got to win out. He's got to have a big game versus Ohio State, and he needs a couple of the other guys to lose games.
Did bet him last week.
Yeah, I was gonna say the problem is if you're gonna put up his stats and then Michael Penix, it's gonna be like one guy 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, the other guy 2,500 yards, 15 touchdowns. So, but he's playing excellent in the time he's been out there. So yeah, you need a few things to happen, but he's got a shot.
You know what McCarthy, Joey Knish, and Michigan fans would prefer? A national championship instead of a Heisman.
I would strongly agree.
I got him number 1 right now. My power ranks. Number 1, Michigan. Best team in the country.
Oh, baby.
Drake May, plus 550, number 1 pick, 2024. Might have some value. I do like Drake May at the next level more than Caleb Williams. There's a hot take for you. I don't like the playground ball from Caleb. I don't think he's as good as Patrick Mahomes throwing the football. What say you?
I'm not going to talk. I find it hard to believe with Williams' skill set that somebody still wouldn't go.
Oh, he's going number 1. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to talk yourself into it. And he's got some bad habits and that and some of the offense that's going on, but he just can do stuff that none of the other guys really can. So
do you love him at the next level? I think he's going to be a bust. There's a hot take.
Oh, bust. All right. I mean, I agree. He's got some stuff he needs to iron out, but I'd still take him number 1 of the. I'm not going to let a game versus Notre Dame on the road dissuade me from taking him number 1. I still think he's the best talent.
Tailgate tent, love tailgate. Daniels beats Bama and Ole Miss takes a loss, and he's cooking with gas in the SEC championship game.
That's one that, and I saw Mr. Connolly, which again, it's not like a poll or anything. He just did his Heisman rankings. He had Daniels number 2, and if they run the table, they got to run it. They got to beat Bama. They probably got to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, which I don't know if they can do because the defense is terrible. But he's putting up the numbers that, and the team on his back that nobody else is. What's Daniels?
You didn't bet him preseason? I did preseason.
Yeah. I was gonna say for the people out there, if you were looking to add a position, I would need a little bit more of an attractive price because I mean, what's your money line parlay of them beating Bama and Georgia? So because I think you need both to for him to win the award.
Did you do anything with Georgia's power rating with Bowers out maybe the regular season?
I mean, I think he's been so critical to a lot of their performances here. I think he's one of those guys that, I agree. I think he's worth, a point and a half there.
Yeah, I downgraded him a point, a tight end worth a point. Yeah, I think, and that's probably being conservative.
Dave had to rely. I mean, they had to rely on him to close some games out there. So, and I mean, he was absolutely crushing it the last few weeks. So, yeah, I think it could all be shaping up for Big Blue, baby.
I agree with you. If I had to bet one team to win it all right now, it'd be Michigan. Old Dominion plus 6.5. We'll get to a few more here as we close it out. Connor in the chat. Old Dominion plus 6.5. They're going to run all over App State. I like the over more than anything there, but I certainly lean Old Dominion.
Yeah, that would be the only side I'd play it at the night. I agree. It is kind of, I don't know if sad is the right word to see what's happened to App State football, but it's kind of
Oh,
been
they're
this.
horrifically coached. He's the guy. Sean Clark's way over his head.
Yep, it's kind of been this slow descent now. I
Yep.
mean, it is kind of a feeder school, right? You crush it at App State, you get a new job. And eventually, when you're one of those schools, you kind of crap out on a hire, and I think they've
Yep.
done it here. So, yeah, I would be. I agree with you on the over and the dog.
Egg in the chat. This is an interesting question. Do you guys generally try to middle game of the year tickets or let them ride? Have Penn State plus 10. I don't know. My game of the year bets usually aren't worth. I didn't get much down. It's not like I got 10 grand down on them. So I don't typically try to middle them. Do you?
No, the only time are when I really, if I really like the other side,
Yeah. If you like the other
and in
side,
that
you bet it.
instance where, if I'm sitting on a Penn State 10 and then an Ohio State 2.5 pops or something like that, or a cheap money line, then yeah, I'll admit it. But I agree with you. It's just, usually not able to get enough liquidity down to middle it unless I really like the number that I'm middling. So
Yeah, I mean, if my numbers call for it, then yeah, I'm going to bet it, but I'm just not going to middle to middle. That's just my thought process. Mike in the chat, will Harbaugh let Sparty cross the 50 this week? Oof. What did you do anything in this game? I took a little under. I'm not sure how Michigan State scores.
I tend to agree. I will say,
kind of like Sparty. I've been waiting for you to say something like that.
I kind of agree with the I like the under as far as a play. This is the one that got hit down. This one I was trying to get what I could down on some of the soft open numbers on the under. Michigan State changed quarterback. We talked about it last week. They did change quarterback. They looked a lot better. They absolutely gagged the game against Rutgers away. And if you haven't seen the highlights of that one, cue them up. It was like a classic Sparty, just absolute meltdown. They did look better. I would lean the under in the points. I got to be honest with you. I think this is and it's a cliche narrative, yada, yada. This is the only game for the rest of the season that Michigan State is going to, especially after losing, they're not going bowling. They're not, getting out of this season. They still got to play Ohio State, still got to play Penn State. I think you get, the entire Mark D'Antonio's probably been sitting in the office since they hired him, doing nothing but planning for this game. Yeah, he's not even wearing a headset on the sideline, but he's planning for this game. So, yeah, maybe I'm shook from years of D'Antonio covers here, but it would be the point.
10 straight at one point.
Yeah. Now, granted, this is the best Michigan team in, I don't know, 20 years or since 97. So a little different ball game than playing Brady Hoke and Rich Rod. But, yeah, I still think the points in the under is the way I'd lean.
Not liquid enough right now, but first half Sparty. I'm interested in first half Sparty.
Okay.
So I think they'll come out with their hair on fire at least. I don't know if it'll be good enough in the end. So we'll see. It's at a few books now. Oof. Yeah, I need that. I need that 14.
I agree.
need that 14. Yeah. So, all right, we'll revisit that one. That might be one to revisit later in the week because I kind of agree. Under and dog in that one. Some correlation.
Yeah. Let's see. We haven't hit the big one. We haven't hit the big boy for D-Lee. Penn State, Ohio State. I know we've talked about it.
No, we haven't yet. We will. I promise in the next 10 minutes we'll get to it before we sign off. I'll get to a few more in the chat. Connor in the chat. Tennessee. This is a big game. +9, 9.5. I don't know. I haven't bet it. Have you? There was some under money that I didn't get to. Some people got it before me. Did you do anything?
No, I haven't bet it. But I don't. Man, I just don't like what I'm seeing from Tennessee's offense. And that was a game. Jim. I mean, Texas A&M. I don't know if they're going to cut the check, but it's another game that they should have probably won. They didn't. It's hard to back Milton here if the run game isn't going, which I don't think it'll be. I mean, they've changed all of their strategy because Milton hasn't been able to hit the explosives to have to be this team that leans on the run, which I don't think works for Bama. Now Milton, we'll see how healthy he was. He was obviously more of a pocket passer in the last game, but I could only lay it with Bama here under 10. I'm not really. I don't think Tennessee has the offense this year to keep up.
Don't disagree. RW fan 23 in the chat. Lowest total you guys are seeing in the game, highest. Well, I mean, the 31's pretty low as far as FBS versus FBS.
Yeah.
I've seen some 28, 29s,
Yeah.
Patriot League,
Yep.
FCS.
Yep. Yeah. I was just gonna say I've seen some FCS 28s.
Yeah. Highest for me that I've seen, I'll give you a couple. I think there was a Oregon Cal game a few
Was it
years
80,
ago when Sonny Dykes was at Cal that touched
81, 83?
no 89, 89
Oh
ish.
my god, I didn't know it was that
Yeah,
low.
yeah, yeah. Texas Tech Baylor, I think got close, upper 80s, maybe touched 90 at some point. And Presbyterian that one year where they never punted.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
last a couple 2 years ago, I think. I think there's some 90s that flashed in their games because their games were averaging 90 some points a game. So that's the highest that I've seen there. Crestman in the chat early on the Vols. No, I probably would have taken 10. I pushed the button, somebody got it before me, but we just broke that one down. Tyler, do we lean Clemson? Looks like Van Dyke is questionable. No, I'm kind of I want to bet Miami, believe it or not. I don't like Clemson this year. I don't like what I see from them. So that's one we'll definitely talk Friday show. Let's just get because I don't see questions about it. Let's talk. Well, I'll jump to it. SG3 down there. You see Penn State moving to +6. I don't, to be honest with you.
Not any.
What do you think of the game? I lean dog and under here.
Yeah, I mean, we had kind of been. This is another one that is reminiscent of when we were talking to buy up as many Colorado look ahead prices as you can. We've been talking Penn State, for a few weeks that to get on the train here, even at 4.5. I'd still lean that way. Ohio State is just bang. I'll be interested to see. This is one you want to keep up on. They are banged up on offense, and it didn't really matter as much versus a Purdue defense that didn't have a lot for them. But they got a couple running backs banged up. Abuka didn't play last game. They were having to put out Carnell Tate as a freshman there. They've got some injuries on the defense too, so they're a little banged up. And I just think this Penn State defense is outside of Michigan. I think the second best defense in the country. They're real deal. Now, I mean, we've had questions about Penn State's offense all year. Franklin is inflating the numbers against these peasants, putting up 800 yards and 60 points for UMass in a rainstorm. But again, it would lean dog and under here for me. Still, that's the only way I would need. This is one. The only way I'd get to Ohio State here is similar to how we got to Washington last week, where if it dips through this 3 and we're looking at a cheap money line, then you might give me some Ohio State. Outside of that, I'm not laying anything above 3.
Derivative markets, I'd be interested in Ohio State team total under later in the week. We'll revisit that one on the Friday show. As that becomes
I'm interested to see the game plans too. Like, this has been Ohio State team that has tried, we're going to establish the run and we're going to be tough all year. That ain't going to work this week. So I think their best game plan is to throw it 60 times and deal with the repercussions of seeing how if McCord can hit some shot plays, because it doesn't work. The run game against any real opponent this year has not worked.
I'm not buying McCord yet either. I know he said his stats look okay, but he's got a legit defense. Last time we saw him legit defense, Notre Dame's a dropped interception away from this narrative about McCord being totally different.
Totally. The whole season would be different if they didn't lose. Notre Dame would still be in the playoff picture, and Ohio State would be, this game probably pick.
Fellas, should I take the under in a Western Kentucky Jacksonville State game? There's going to be some tempo. I took an early number, but man, tempo's going to be there. Wait, I think the over will take money. What say you?
Yeah, I don't. Again, the efficiency stuff isn't great for especially Jacksonville State, but
no, it's not.
Both teams are. When you're running, it's one of those games that you can have like 6 straight 3-and-outs, and there's only been 4 minutes off the clock, and then you got a couple explosive plays. So I didn't take part in either side or total in this one. I'd be honestly a little bit of a Western Kentucky lean, but I didn't get there.
Yeah, you do not like Rich Rod.
I don't like them. I loved them versus Eastern Michigan when they were playing, and we were getting, but yeah, they're passing also like how many? I hate the quarterback. I guess Boise's making it work, but I hate the way he's managing the quarterbacks this year. Or
Mickey in the chat. Yeah, Mickey in the chat. What do you get for Jordan Hare BP 3.5? I'm not at 3.5 much at anywhere anymore, to be honest with you. I think on average, I'm like 2.5 in college or a little bit lower. Jordan Hare would be 3 at most, so I'm not there yet
Yeah,
on that
just
one.
it even I don't know, man. Like it just doesn't. There's so many factors that play into it. You could talk for an hour about why it doesn't matter like it used to, but yeah, I agree with you. I think it just people talk themselves into too much HFA in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get to 3.5 anymore for me. Just not there. That has completely changed in the last 20 years. Andario Grayed, hopefully I said that right. USC going to rebound and beat Utah by 2 touchdowns. I like USC this week. Tell me I'm crazy.
I'm not going to tell. I really thought, and again, this opened at obviously a better price. It was one of those where, okay, we'll get a nice, discount on USC, and the discount got bought up pretty good here. So I couldn't be, laying the 6.5, 7. Now, if you want to tell me, 4 was laying you, then I was with it. But it's just such a diametrically like opposed matchup of a team that like lives and breathes physicality versus a team that, man, you're watching that USC defense against Notre Dame, and you're like, this team has no size. Like they're an undersized for a Power 5, like tier,
They are undersized.
like they just don't have a lot of size. With that said, Utah's offense pretty rough here, and it looks like I think the Cam Rising ship has sailed for the season.
Yeah, I don't know if Utah can keep up. You would think Caleb would rebound and the offense would rebound. You would think for SC. We'll see. I am part of the USC money early this week. This is a good question. E in the chat. Best bets for the midweek games. Do you have anything midweek? I'll run them down for you. Middle Tennessee, Liberty, Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, Southern Miss, South Alabama, FIU, Sam Houston, New Mexico State, UTEP, James Madison, Marshall, Rice, Tulsa, SMU, Temple. Anything? 7-8 games?
Where is your? I haven't actually gotten too involved in most of the midweek stuff.
I bet like every game, but that don't mean nothing.
I at current man, the Wednesday ones are the ones that I'm like on the verge of, like Sam Houston laying. I know FIU is absolutely brutal, but Sam Houston laying a 5.
I'm almost on New Mexico. I haven't bet that. That's one I haven't bet yet. Or not New Mexico State.
New Mexico
UTEP.
State?
I'm almost on UTEP.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, it did look like they at least I don't know if you call it an upgrade, but the quarterback change. He
was taking shots down the field.
Right.
Least. Yeah, +3. I mean that. I don't know if it's best bet material, but because I think there could be more New Mexico State money coming in. The market hates UTEP. Hates UTEP. I couldn't believe that they got bet to a 3.5-point dog against FIU. That's one that's a buy for me personally. It is a big rivalry in that area. I don't think people realize I've driven through there, very close on I-10 there, and UTEP +3.5 is a best bet for me if you can find it. But I'd wait till game day for that. But that would be my top one. Anything for agree or disagree?
I don't got much on the other ones.
There's 3.5 right now. Pinnacle, the old Penny Lean thinks I'm an idiot. No, UTEP for me. They're home dog, big rivalry. I hope they play the quarterback they played last week because again they took some shots down the field I hadn't seen all season, and they got bits and pieces. They're horrifically coached, but man, they got some dudes up front on defensive line and stuff. TT plus the points in the comments. FCS plays. There's no lines up yet, but it kind of depends.
A little early for that, dude.
That's funny. Can't even give it to you Friday because they're not up yet, but that's funny. I like that. Any likes on the Tuesday card? Yeah. Nah, I'm not really there yet on anything really there at current numbers. Pitt Wake, Brendan in the chat. I took Wake, but I don't know. Pitt, maybe the buy sign's on Pitt. I will say Pitt. We took Pitt, one of our winners. Nice winner. I love that we won out right there. Misleading final. Louisville was sloppy. Like you wouldn't believe in that game. So I don't know. Clausen in the post game was pretty fired up. So I think Wake's going to play. I don't know if it'll be good enough, but I think they'll play well.
Yep.
Let's close it up with Tailgate 10. Wake might be something later in the week that we might revisit. I kind of like Wake. I want to see more of his comments. Tailgate.
What's up? Where you at on the Washington Arizona State. Washington, obviously,
Is Penix going to play?
He was banged up at the end of the and the last drive you didn't see it as much, but going a couple drives before that, he was banged up. I'm kind of.
Where are we at 28 and a half? That's what I need.
Yeah, there's some 28 and a half, 28, 20 and a half out there. I got to be honest with you. I don't hate it just on the surface. And I think it can only go one way.
So I bet Washington. It was I thought it was a bad number. And then I thought more. I'm thinking, wow, they kind of priced the side in total like he's not going to play.
Very
thinking a little bit
savvy analysis there, yeah. Because that 23 open, you're like, whoa, that's way. And then
I mean, I bet the over the total opened like 56 in a Washington game. Are you kidding me? And Arizona State runs tempo. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, you know what? He was banged up. They're going to sit him out. I'm okay at 28 and a half.
Yeah, me too.
I have no inside info on this other than just, reading some tea leaves, but sometimes it works out. Let's go 28 and a half best bet Arizona State. Love it.
I don't see, you know what? If he does play, it is what it is, but I don't see this one. This isn't one I saw getting to 30, 31 or any of that. I think we're kind of at the top here regardless.
Off the biggest win for them in ages. Arizona State's off a bye. They've been playing better prior to the bye. Could have beaten Colorado, played Cal tough, played USC tough.
Yeah, that's the other thing is it's not Burgett was really, he put up a crazy stat line versus Colorado. I think in Washington's defense I don't know. I like it at 28. I think it's I don't think he'll sit 1 HP. I don't think if he's good to go, I don't think he'll sit E, but this is one that I could very much see him checking out earlier, one of those, or if they get any type of 3-score lead in the second half, getting them out of there. That
only thing I worry. I think Arizona State beat these guys last year, didn't they? It's like a 2-touchdown underdog. They beat it for Washington. That would be a worry.
Hopefully, they're not looking for too much revenge. 4 touchdowns of revenge.
Yeah, I know. Arizona State 28 and a half is fine with me. Tailgate in the chat. What's a Lions Michigan preseason parlay pay? 14-1.
I tell you what, I wish I was enough of a Slappy and Kool-Aid drinker to have that early. But maybe I might play. I have the Lions futures I have were my dad's birthday gift. I got, I put 500 on him, NFC and Super Bowl. So I might be son of the year come February. But that's all. Other than that, I just bet a bunch of NFC North. And the Michigan natty prices, I couldn't get there before the season. And now
I couldn't either.
I've talked about this a minute. If they lose to Penn State,
then we jump in.
Yeah, it's when you hope that it comes full and then it's 20-1, 25-1 after a loss. I don't know if it'll even get that high, but that would be the buy spot.
I bet the Michigan win total, Caesars had this up. I think I laid a half game against the Lions. I think I'm going to lose. Michigan's going to go 12-0. I might lose. The Lions might win 15 games. So
I think I actually I played some tailgate 10s here. We played some exacta on Michigan. I think exactly 11 or 12, something like that. I don't even remember the price. I got to look at the pendings, but something like that.
I thought that was really sharp by tailgate on those teams at the very top, betting the exacta win totals on the Georgias, the Michigans of the world. That was sharp by him. RW Fan 23, best bet on UTEP at 3.5. If you can find 3.5, it's the best bet. It's just not widely available. So we like widely available for the best bet record here. But yeah, 3.5. I'll take the heat. I would best bet it at 3.5. Finally, Charles in the chat, best bet on the Chargers. Tonight, I'm not there yet, even though I'm wearing the hat. If anything, I'd lean Cowboys. I took the Chargers in a teaser.
I forget what our hitman had in this one.
Probably some props he was sending at midnight last night. I'm like, he's sending props during the show. I couldn't believe he sent a prop at midnight. Your time, not my time. I was like, what's going on? He's taking after
well, hey, listen, he had Quentin Johnson over 32.5 receiving yards. I think there was some question about Josh Palmer being healthy. So some of the target and stuff disbursement should go elsewhere. So he liked the Quentin Johnson overs in that one. If you want action on a prop there, I didn't play anything on the side or total in that one.
That's going to do it, man. I thank you for everybody that tuned in. I really appreciate it. The comments were good. We didn't get let's recap some best bets. I think we gave out 3. Let's recap those before we sign off. Zach, if you get a chance, and then we'll see you guys. I forgot to talk to you about this one. What'd you think of the Coastal Carolina pick earlier? You didn't like it because you hate Tim Beck.
Oh, did you? I didn't even. Is that?
Yeah, it's the show. We're 6-3. I'm boosting up to hit the
baby. Record, I didn't even. I forgot to check the what the release was this morning. No, I like that one. The Arkansas State. I think
they figured out the quarterback after a couple.
Yeah. That was one where it's like, oh, we played 2 terrible teams. This guy's like the next big thing, and then they played a real team, and it was all downhill from there. So no, I lean that way. I agree with you.
Yeah, I made 10.5, and then also, I liked some things that Coastal did. You know what they did? They were running last year, the last 3 years, Coastal's offense against App State. They were running some different stuff. So hopefully they continue to do that from Tim Beck. But that was the earlier one. Obviously, can you pull that back up, Zach? I'm getting old. Minnesota plus 4.5. I like that one with a low total. Northwestern, we took the points there, another low total. Can't lay that with Nebraska. Over 58.5, UTSA, Florida Atlantic, suppressed scoring for UTSA because of Harris being out a few games. FAU's offense looked apart last week. Coastal, the earlier show, and you heard it. We are fading the Washington Huskies plus 28.5. I hate the portfolio, buddy. That's a shit portfolio.
Another ugly looking folio to start this week. So yeah, I agree.
There you go. That is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Joey Knish. Producer extraordinaire, Zach Phillips. I'm merely Brad Powers. Guys, make sure for all our show updates, you're following us on Twitter at HitTheBooksHQ and at The Hammer HQ on Twitter. That'll do it. We'll see you Friday at 5 p.m. Take care.